I think it's safe to say Connor wasn't the most beloved protagonist of the series when AC3 first came out back in 2012. Even to this day, Connor doesn't really get a whole lot of praise or respect from the fans, but I always found Connor to be underrated. Connor is not your classic charming hero like Ezio per se. He's more of a tragic hero. His mother was killed at a young age, his village burned down by George Washington, he was forced to kill his best friend and father, then the man who was like a father to him died at old age. By the end of AC3, Connor has nobody left. It's a tragic and sad story, but it also makes Connor a stronger person, and the way AC3 left Connor and his ending deleted monologue really shows how much he's learned through the years and the perspective he's gained. The way the game ended, in my opinion at least, left the door open for a potential sequel with Connor, but obviously Ubisoft charges high rates for a character to earn a sequel these days. But in my opinion, Connor deserves a sequel. A lot of characters are very deserving of sequels in the Assassin's Creed series, especially Arno and Shay. I made a video a few months ago talking about what my ideal sequel for Assassin's Creed would be, and I don't want to go into too much detail about that, but basically the idea was to have a dual protagonist game with Arno and Shay. Arno wanting to hunt down Shay and avenge his father and kill the Templars, and Shay wanting to re-establish the Templar Order in America. And in this game you would play as both protagonists and eventually decide who you want to side with, Arno and the Assassins or Shay and the Templars. A lot of people pointed out to me in the comments in that video that this kind of game would be a perfect opportunity to include Connor as well. And you guys are absolutely right, and I can't believe I didn't think of it before. I mean, we could even go ahead and include Aveline while we're at it. But if Shay is trying to re-establish the Templar Order in America, obviously Connor and the Assassins would be the ones standing in his way, and Arno would travel to America as well to hunt down Shay. So we could possibly have a game with 4 Assassin's Creed protagonists in one sequel. And I think Connor and Arno working together to stop Shay and the Templars would be a really fun concept. It would give a lot of protagonists who I think deserve sequels the stories and closure to their characters that they deserve. And for Connor specifically, at the end of AC3, he's around 28 years old, and if this game were to take place sometime after Dead Kings, that would place Connor somewhere in his 40s. Seeing an older Connor would be really cool, and I'd be really curious how he's grown and matured in that time. Has he started his own order? Has he become a mentor? Does he still believe in what he does? And has he gotten any wiser over the years? It would be cool to see how Achilles' teachings have influenced him as he's gotten older and how he teaches his own pupils. It would be so cool to see Connor and Arno working together and how their separate experiences affect one another. Because just like Connor, Arno has lost everything by the end of AC Unity, so they actually have a lot in common. Arno's dad was killed at a young age. He was forced to kill Bellic, his friend. His mentors, De La Serra and Mirabeau, were killed, and he watched Elise die. These two characters actually have a lot in common, so it would be great to see them interact and work together. It's even explained in Connor's wiki that he went on to connect a lot of the Assassin's bureaus, so the likelihood that Connor and Arno actually met is very high. Something else I'm really curious about with Connor is whatever happened with his connection to the apple and the Izu. In the Tyranny of King Washington DLC, he dropped the apple into the bottom of the ocean, and at the end of AC3, it was explained that Connor fulfilled his purpose, but I wonder if, like Ezio, Connor still spent his life serving the Izu and playing some kind of role in what happens in the future. The Izu were the ones who had Connor start his journey and become an assassin in the first place, so surely they aren't done with him yet. And of course, one of the main things I'm curious about is how Connor's story ends, how and when he dies, and what kind of legacy he leaves behind. It's a rare privilege to see the beginning and end to a character's life in the Assassin's Creed series. The only two we actually saw die were Altair and Ezio, and I think there are a lot of characters who deserve to see how their journey ended, and Connor is certainly one of them. I really hope Ubisoft sees some of these ideas and decides to put them into action someday, but in the meantime, you'll catch me on the Demigod Simulator, patiently waiting for a Connor sequel. If you guys have any other cool ideas or sequel opportunities for Connor, please leave them down in the comments. I'd love to see what you guys come up with, and if you enjoyed the video, a like on it would be really appreciated. I make a lot of AC content here, so feel free to check out some of my previous videos, and consider subscribing for more in the future. Thanks for watching, everybody, and stay stealthy out there, assassins.